Today I would like a bit to talk about parent education, especially in the context of divorce and separation by the parents. I would like to introduce you to some of the pitfalls and some of the positives that arise from a divorce or a separation. My name is Leon Forsman. I am the CEO of New Dawn Mediation Services. And I have done training and mediations for the past 10 years. One of the things I've realized is that nobody is really ready for the challenges that a divorce brings or a separation brings to the table when it comes to parenting your children. It can be a very daunting experience, a very lonely road you are on. So let's talk about it for a moment. Why is parental education after divorce or during divorce so important? What happens in a divorce with the parents on the one hand and the children on the other hand? There are a few goals that I set out when I do parental training, especially co-parenting training. That meaning dealing with the divorce and the separation and how the new circumstances plays a role in how the parents are parenting their children. The goals that I have for parental education is the following: to serve in the first place the best interest of the child. The child is, in a certain sense, those that are hurt more than we really realize in a divorce. And we are so focused on our own needs that the interests of our children go lacking when we try to navigate through a divorce. So the first very important takeaway from today is that parental education is necessary so that you can be more prepared to serve the best interests of your children. Secondly, it's to minimize risk factors and enhance protective factors. There are many risks associated with a divorce or a separation, and if you're not open to see those risks, one can easily fall into a rut that damages the relationships even further. We want to enhance those protective factors that help us to heal and grow again. Thirdly, it teaches parents an effective model of parenting in divorce. It's also meant to intervene, to change or eliminate patterns of relating to each other and to our children that are likely to interfere with the productive negotiations when we are getting divorced. There are three main influences that influence the recovery of kids during divorce. The first one is permanent conflict between the parents. is more than likely going to affect the children in such a way that they take longer to heal and to reset to the new circumstances. If the conflict of the marriage is also carried over to the relationship between the parents after divorce, it is going to have an adverse effect on your children. The loss of a parent. If the child in divorce experiences rejection by one parent, whether it is perceived rejection or real rejection, does not really matter. In the child's mind, that loss of a parent not living with him or her anymore, not being there all the time, can influence a kid in recovering from divorce. And the third very, very important influence is the quality of parenting during and after divorce. Most times, more than often, the quality of parenting declines during divorce. And the reasons, therefore, is quite simple. When couples get divorced, they are so focused on each other and the hurt and the negative things they are experiencing, that there is sometimes very little energy left for parenting. So those are the three things that influence kids' recovery from divorce the most. The impact of a divorce on the child and the parent needs to be understood as well. Parental separation and divorce are major life changes and stresses for all family members, even the extended family. Divorce is not an isolated event, but a sequence of ongoing change. Just think of it for a moment. You fall in love. You start a relationship. The relationship develops and blossoms into a marriage. Everybody goes into a marriage without the expectation that they will ever end up in divorce. Then the relationship starts to deteriorate, for what reasons ever. And there is a new sequence of change going on in the relationship, until the point where the couple says, well, it's better to get divorced now, and they start the process of divorce. Whether the marriage was full of conflict and disputes and even perhaps verbal or physical violence, all of that contributes to the sequence of ongoing change. And then the divorce is settled. Maybe the parents are in a better space and start recovering after the divorce, which is new change again. So divorce is not an isolated event. It is a sequence of ongoing change. And the child experiences the same feelings as adults, but they do not have the language, skills to verbalize it, nor the cognitive abilities to understand what's happening. They don't always have the ability to identify and express their feelings as grown-ups may have. So it is the same for your child as it is for you. If you are feeling depressed and overburdened and absolutely burnt out, your child is most probably feeling the same. When we look at the parents, first of all, and what the divorce affects in a parent, the following is quite obvious. Suddenly the parent is overburdened. There's no second fiddle to help release and help with the parenting of the children. You have to do everything on your own now. And a feeling of being overburdened can easily be part of what you're feeling now. Stressed. There is a deterioration in financial stability. It is not as easy to make ends meet anymore, only on your salary and the bit of maintenance that is agreed upon. There can also develop more negative life events from this. The rejection of family members and friends, and suddenly you're on your own. It leads to the following: greater social isolation, because you can't go to the friends or be friends still with those you and your partner were friends together with. It feels strange. It is also of the utmost importance for a parent to separate psychologically, but also emotionally from each other. Many times people get divorced, and on a psychological level they know they're not together anymore, but emotionally they're still drawn to each other. They are still connected to each other. They find it difficult to make choices, go it on their own. You must be able not only to separate physically from each other, but also psychologically and emotionally. It is of the utmost importance. It takes about 2 to 4 years to regain your balance. And that time is needed to heal. Use it. Don't be too quickly back on the horse's back because you are feeling lonely. Take your time to settle all your emotional issues and stuff. There is also the neglect of adult needs, the whole thing of sexuality that is no longer there. And dear friends, if anger and depression cannot be resolved, and a desire to retaliate against the other person still exists, it is a good indication that psychological closure has not been achieved. Individual therapy is then of the utmost importance. And may I note, acknowledge it when you are in need of individual therapy. You're not a lone ranger. Nobody is expecting of you to be the strong one. Instead, for your children's sake, I believe it's in their best interest that mom and dad are okay with themselves. So if you're not, get help. There are also positives to a divorce. It helps you redefine emotional boundaries. It helps you establish your identity again, who you are as a person and what is important to you as a person. It brings also over time some financial independence. You move from confusion to clarity, from the murkiness of unsettled issues in the divorce to a place where you are clear about the road ahead. Freedom and acceptance of responsibility for yourself is also one of the wonderful effects, positive effects. You can also discover the resilience that is within you, and you are open to new opportunities in life. That is the positives and the negatives when it comes to adults. But as we said, it also divorce also has an effect on children. And divorce can endure as the defining moment of children's lives. Exactly what that will mean for your child will be determined not so much by the simple fact you have divorced, but by how you choose to handle the issues and challenges that lie ahead. Let me say that again. The way in which you are going to handle your divorce, is it going to be very contentious and full of conflict, or is it going to be a nice, soft, smooth, grown-up way to get things settled? That is going to determine the way your child is going to handle the road ahead. The way in which parents handle separation and divorce may affect children positively and also negatively. The key to helping children cope is held by parents and those other important adults in children's lives, like grandparents. How they speak of what is happening, how they relate to the other person, the other side, will also determine how children will relate to the divorce. It can have effects on children's physical health, and there is obviously an environmental changes that are going to happen. Mom and dad are going to live in separate houses, and over weekends I am with one parent and the next weekend with another. It can also affect interpersonal functioning of the child. The child can go through a period of denial and saying, well, this isn't happening, and actually move into a space where in his or her head, everything is still the same. It can lead to the confusion in their identity, who they are, and believe who they are. They can also take the blame for the divorce. Many children struggle with this. They believe they are the result, the reason for the divorce, especially with little children. They also try to accept responsibilities that is not theirs. For instance, the eldest boy will try to take dad's place in the home. There will be conflict in loyalty. To which parent must they be more loyal? Fear of abandonment. that both parents are going to leave me. There can be anger issues. There can be the fear of the other parent. Feelings of rejection. Dad and mom don't love me anymore or as much as they used to. Can lead to depression and shame that their parents are divorced. There can be the hope that mom and dad will reconcile again. It will have an influence on their religion and values. Divorce causes a loss of family, a loss of parent participation, a loss of identity, and of living standards. But all is not negative, dear friends. There are positive effects to divorce as well. When there is a stabilized single-parent family, things tend to find their way again. There can be an improved relationship with both parents. The children take responsibility for their own lives to a greater extent. It learns them certain life skills and gives them life experience to a certain extent. They also recognize their resilience and they learn empathy for other people going through difficult times. Behaviors to look out for. Signs of trauma or distress in your child. Sudden changes in physical appearance. Weight loss or gain is often a common side effect of stress. Rebelling against normal routines and rules and chores. Secretive actions. For example, closing the bedroom door when they didn't do it before. Dramatic mood swings that are of the norm. Extreme happiness followed by extreme sadness. Reverting to a younger age. Regression is what it's called. Suddenly this young boy is a baby again, acting out against the parents and teachers and misconduct like stealing, spending excessive time around new friends that you haven't met before, refusing to visit the other parent, behaving one way for you and differently for your ex, holding out hope that you and the other parent get back together again. Excessive crying and emotional reactions or outbursts or clinging behavior are all signs of trauma one has to look out for. Suddenly the child is sick a lot. Headaches, belly aches, trying to stay home from school. Sleeping problems, nightmares, insomnia, refusal to eat or inconsistent eating habits, hoarding food, comfort eating are all signs. Sudden appearances of an imaginary friend, changes in toilet routine, bedwetting, excessive urinating, and so forth. These are all things that one has to look out for. I don't want to stress parents out even more than what they are, but by having parenting education, I am able to help you to recognize the signs that your child needs help. I'm here to help you understand what you are going through during the divorce, but also what your child is feeling and experiencing, and how you can make a difference, a positive difference, by helping your child, by recognizing that he or she needs help. My dear friends, I really hope that this short discussion was of great value to you. Please press the like button and become part of my YouTube channel. There's going to be a follow-up on this topic. In the next video, I'm going to look at other indicators that affect a child during divorce and how you can deal with those. Good day. Keep well. Keep safe. Be happy. Goodbye.